All right, hon. How are you doing today?
Great.
God's good.
God's good.
All the time.
I know. We went to see CeCe Winans last night.
Where?
That was great. At the Ryman.
At the Ryman.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes. It was a concert, I guess, but to me, it was more just like a night of worship.
Yeah, it was.
Because, especially the songs that she sang, like I have spent a lot of time in worship just singing those songs in my own personal time. And so to me, I was kind of like, why are all these people sitting down and like not worshiping? They're just like watching it like it's a concert. Like it is weird. It was weird to me.
It's worship time.
I was like, I'm really sorry to the people sitting behind me, but I'm going to pretty much stand this whole time. And
yeah,
I mean, I don't, yeah.
So, well, yeah. And for anybody listening, did you know, you might not know this, but we were just on CeCe Winans' YouTube show just recently.
Generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
in mid-March,
we'll have a link to that in the description. You should check it out. It was a great interview with CeCe and her daughter, Ashley. Mm-hmm. And we got to share, some interesting parts of our story, and just some good stuff came out. It was just a good interview. Felt good.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. Plus, I just love her. She just has so much wisdom.
Yeah,
and I love that she's got her daughter on there. And the whole idea is to be passing on wisdom from one generation to the next. Mm-hmm. And I just think that is so great.
Well,
that's what I hope to do in my life with my kids. And
so anyway, today we're talking about 5 ways that we can help you thrive financially this year.
Yeah.
And so if you like CeCe, go check out that episode. That's a bonus. We'll start with the bonus. Go check out that episode we did with her.
Right.
That was really good. Like I said, we'll have a link to it down below. And actually, I think we do have a short link to it where it's just SeedTime.com/CeCe, C-E-C-E. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I want to go through a handful of different ways that we can help you thrive financially. And I think we get people on our email list or kind of coming into our world and they're like, all right, well, what do you do? How can you help? And I think in its simplest form, we are financial educators, but that sounds really boring. Really what we are is...
It is boring.
Like, if you want to know my truest heart, desire, it's to create mission-driven millionaires. It's to create people who have a heart for earning more money to be able to funnel it into the kingdom and advance the kingdom. Like, that's what we are after.
And we are in the land of opportunity, so we should go after that. Like, we should take the opportunity we've been given, I think.
Well, yeah, and beyond that.
And use it for people who don't have that opportunity.
But even if we're not in the land of opportunity, we serve the God of opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's no limit to what he can do through us. But bottom line, point is that, yes, we want to help you get out of debt, but it's like it's so much more than that. There's so much more that we want to help you do.
Yeah.
And, and we know that not everyone necessarily has that desire to, earn and give away $1 million, but that's what God did in our lives, and that's what we want to help as many people do that as possible.
Right.
And
absolutely.
And it was really cool. We actually just had someone email maybe a week or two ago, and she said, "Hey, I just want to let you know we just crossed our $1 million giving goal." Which was just so fun to hear. Like seeing people. Seeing students. She had been a student for a long time, and seeing how God had used some of our resources in her life and the journey that they've been on, and it was just fantastic. But anyway, so with all that in mind, first thing I want to point you to is we created a digital, I don't know what I would say, digital cheat sheet, digital kind of breakdown of this study I found where there were 233 millionaires that they studied them to analyze their habits, analyze the things they did. And it turns out one of the most significant things that they did to become millionaires is actually something that is tucked in the pages of the book of Genesis and that so many Christians miss.
Right.
And so anyway, so I'm not going to tell you what it is. You got to go get it.
Oh.
But anyway, it's a free resource. You don't have to pay for it, but
we've actually started doing this.
Yeah.
Haven't we?
Yeah. And so
recently.
So
this is a new thing for us. It's not like we've been doing this. Of course, we've just been doing this forever.
Well, there's a paradigm shift there. And there's more research behind all this that like just made me like see it in a different light. And so anyway, so check that out. Free resource you can get. Just go to SeedTime.com/233, and we'll have a page there. You can get it. And on top of kind of the breakdown of what it is, we also have like an 8-point quick start checklist that you can really get started as soon as possible moving in this direction.
Right. Because while it might not be the easiest thing to follow through on, it's not complicated.
Yeah, and my job is to make it as easy as possible to follow through on.
Yes.
Like that's what that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to figure out how to automate this entire thing and make it happen.
Right.
So anyway, so that's the first thing that I would point you to that I think if you begin taking action on that and applying it, like this can radically change your financial life by the end of the year,
Yeah.
Next thing I want to mention to you is our book, Simple Money. I conveniently have one in this drawer right here. Simple Money, Rich Life. And again, you've probably heard us talk about this 10,000
There's
times.
Hundreds of them sitting behind you on that shelf,
there's hundreds of them sitting behind me down on this shelf. You've probably heard us talk about it a whole lot, but I want to try to talk about it in a different lens because we are just a couple weeks away from the 3-year anniversary of this book coming out.
I cannot believe that.
Which is crazy, right?
Our book is 3.
I know,
Almost
3 years old. It's like... it's that toddler who's kind of cute still, but anyway.
Three-nager.
Yeah. But anyway, so I want to just read a couple testimonials from you from this book. If you haven't read the book, like this is one of those things where it's like, this is my life's work, that I would love to get into your hands. That is a beach read. Each chapter is like 7 or 8 minutes long. It's so simple to read. You can read the entire book in less than 5 hours. I mean, if you read really slow, it's like maybe 6. I don't know. How long do you think it would take you?
I don't. I've read it several times. I don't know how long it took me.
You don't know.
Well, I read it with a different angle in mind. But no, I mean, it really is. I think people laugh that it's a beach read because it actually is.
But those aren't
lighthearted.
Our words. That's what other people have said to us.
Well, I mean, that was actually what I said about it because I told
other people have said that too.
I told someone, I was like, it's a beach read. Don't worry about it. And then we've had people, come back and confirm what I said was true. Because it's lighthearted. It's like we're having a conversation. I am not like, I don't write a lot in the book, but what I write is always some sort of little interjection that is like you're listening to the podcast. We'll just say that.
Yeah. So, and on top of that, we have an audio version. So if you like listening to the podcast, you can go listen to the book.
We are the narrators on it.
And because there's an editor on the audio version versus the podcast, like, I mean, I guess we technically have an editor.
Better.
But it's like all of the useless, wasted stuff is cut. So it's like, it's just great. But anyway, I want to read a couple testimonials, and these are just straight off of Amazon, so you can go to Amazon and read these. But this one says, Esther said, have you ever felt stuck, wondering if financial freedom and wealth just aren't in the cards for you? This is the book for you. This book gives a reader a totally different perspective on the role of money in their world and their personal life. Bob, the brain, and Linda, the heart. Have you ever heard it described that way?
Wow.
Of this book make financial advice so simple, relatable, and practical. From thinking patterns to habits, the things they teach are transformative. Or reading it for the 3rd time, it's so good. They are so down to earth, funny, and their instruction will help anybody master the art of earning, saving, giving more than they ever thought they could. 1,000% worth the read.
Wow, I love that.
Esther, thank you for that.
We really are like Pinky in the Brain. You have always got some idea.
Is that what it is, Pinky in the Brain?
A little bit. I mean, maybe not as much, but it is. You've always got some idea. You're cooking up.
That's awesome. All right, Leslie, or you have more?
Oh, go ahead. No,
I was just going to read a couple more real quick. So Leslie says, I'm so grateful and blown away by how simple the book, Simple Money, Rich Life is, and the contents are to read, understand, and put in place.
Mm-hmm. That really is.
I'm planning on buying more copies so I can give them away as gifts. Thank you so much.
That's great.
Tammy says, this is not just a book. It's a remarkable resource you will refer to again and again on your financial journey.
I love that.
It's written in a fun and refreshing tone, full of stories, examples, and questions to consider. I especially appreciated all the excellent resources Bob shares throughout the book.
Yeah.
Anyway, the concepts in the book impacted me so much. I purchased it on Audible so I could listen while driving or doing tasks around the house. It's been an efficient way to transform my mind and thoughts on money. So
I love that.
Anyway, and there are actually about 895 more of those. If you want to go spend a couple hours just reading all the reviews. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we have 898 reviews on Amazon, and it's 4.9 stars. In case you're wondering, guys, it's actually good. It's not good because we wrote it. It's good because God put his hand on it.
Well, and we heard somebody say, that a friend recommended a book to them, and they were like, one of your friends wrote a book. Okay. They're like, if I can't buy it on, Kindle, Audible, paperback, this is not a good book. Yeah. But yeah, we really did. We put everything we have into it. And we're actually having a lot of our friends, there's a big homeschooling community here in Tennessee or in Franklin anyway. And we've had a lot of our friends have their kids, like their high schoolers, go through this as part of their curriculum, which is really sweet and really flattering. And I mean, I think that it's a great idea a lot of this stuff is stuff that we learned when we first moved out. We didn't know it when we first moved out. We first got married and we were young, like 23, 24, and trying to figure all this stuff out. So I love that idea of a graduation gift or something.
Since you brought that up, this is a great point. So first off, before we get to that, let me just tell you, you can get the book for free. If you just cover shipping, we will send you the book, okay? Like, and this is a ministry. This is part of our ministry.
Sure.
And so like we take a loss on this, but it's just that important. This is what we're called to do. Mm-hmm. And so we want to get this book out in as many hands as possible. So, and we'll say it this way. You can get your first book for free. So please don't go buy 10 books for free. Like, we're willing to take a loss on one, but please don't just like drive us into the hole by doing that. But you can buy bulk copies at a discount on our website. We have both a 5-week Bible study PDF guide that we can give you to go through. We also have, you mentioned the homeschool thing. We have a homeschool curriculum that I just put together recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because so many people have been asking about it. And it's just at this point, it's just a digital document with 18 weeks that kind of goes through the book. Perfect for a high schooler. And so I don't have the link on me right now.
Yeah, your 10-year-old might not.
Yeah, but a high schooler, like I would say high
right.
schooler, especially the last couple of years of high school.
Right.
And so anyway, so you're going to have to email me and ask for that because I don't have the link in front of me right now. If I find it, I'll put it in the show notes. But either way, email me, bob@seedtime.com, ask for it, or the other thing, and we'll get those to you. Mm-hmm. But like I said, the book's on Kindle, it's on Audible, and this is just that thing. It's like if I could recommend anything that we have to someone, this is a great, great resource. And we're doing everything we can to make it accessible, which is why we're offering for free if you can just cover shipping for us.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's number 2. Number 3 on the list.
Number 3
is we created one of our most popular kind of digital PDFs we created is called Prayers for Finances. And so essentially, Linda and I, one of the most significant things that I don't think we talk about enough has been our financial prayer life.
Right.
And all the years where we found different verses that we would stand on and that we would pray night after night after night, and just continuing to pray specific verses and declare the truth of God's word over our financial life when it did not look great. When it was not going the way we wanted, when we knew that God had something more for us, when we knew that he had...
Yeah.
Anyway, and so we put together...
when circumstances were looking bad, you know? Like, how did we get ourselves in this position type of thing?
Yeah, and how do we get out of it? And we need your help, you know? And it's like, and the desperation prayer of God help, like, is good. Like, that's a great place to start. But it's really good when you can start pulling in what God said in his word and applying that to your prayer life. And so this PDF will get you that. And so it's a free PDF that you can get if you just go to SeedTime.com/prayer. And again, we'll try to have links to all these down below. Yeah, but that's a great resource.
I think maybe it was our pastor that said this on Sunday, but he said something about you might have facts, but God's word is the truth. I have the truth. And so there are facts and then there is truth. And I think that's why this is so important, praying the word of God over your situation.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So in that PDF, we have a bunch of verses that we've stood on over the years, as well as like just some declarations that we've made, and as well as like some prayer starters, because I think that's a challenge that, or for me, a lot of times I like books that kind of give prayer starters, because sometimes it's like I just need to prime the pump and get it moving, and then all of a sudden, all these thoughts come to mind of things to pray about.
Or sometimes you're just in the position where you're like, I don't even know how to pray about this.
Yep. Yep.
I'm so lost in the mess of this chaos that I don't even know how to pray. Yeah. So yeah, that's great.
All right. Next on our list is our program called True Financial Freedom. And specifically, you know, individuals and couples are going through this program, but it's ultimately designed for small groups and for churches.
Right.
And this has been, and really it's a lot of the same content from Simple Money, Rich Life, that book, because we created them at the same time.
Yep.
That year was a crazy year in so many ways, because we were creating this curriculum. Originally we just created it for our church because they asked for it. And then we had other churches asking about it. And so we ended up recording it. And
we did it live a couple times just for anybody who wanted to, hop online with us.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been interesting.
Well, it's been a life-changing church. I just wanted to read from one of the...
Wait, it's been a life-changing church is what you just said.
Sorry. It's been a life-changing program for a lot of individuals and churches as well. And so it was a church out in California that just took their a big group of people through it. And this is what one of the facilitators just sent us. He said, our church just completed a True Financial Freedom program, and we're enrolling another group to start just in a couple of weeks. And we received great and very positive feedback from the participants, and I was very impressed with the course. He said, I've facilitated another Christian financial program for 25 to 30 groups over the years. And I really feel that True Financial Freedom is a much superior program. TFF is the only program I've seen that truly deals with the issues that need to be addressed with Christians, God's ownership, and learning to freely turn use of his assets back to him through generous giving. Bottom line, I love the way you presented the issues in the program, and your genuinely humble spirits allowed this touchy and difficult subject to change lives. Thank you.
I love to hear that.
Anyway, and so like we've gotten just a lot of great feedback about this program as well. And again, like I will just reiterate, we are just trying to shine a light on what God's doing. Like we've created a lot of stuff, and there's been plenty of stuff that we have created where it's just not great. And I'm not going to tell you about that stuff. That stuff is deleted and gone. But the stuff where it's like,
it's true.
We create it, and then we see God's hand on it, and we see him working through it, and we're just standing back like, okay, well, that's the one. That's the thing that's working. And this is one of those things.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that is a huge part of our job, is just to highlight what he is doing. And, it just so happens that he is helping us to communicate this in a way that is on his heart. Yep. And so, I mean, I'm really excited because it's so very clear that it's not that we're smart and we know how to do this. It's just clear that God is trying to communicate something to his people. Yeah. And so I feel blessed that we get to be part of it, and that we get to hear stuff like that where it's like,
well, it's so humbling.
Finally, what God is wanting to say is getting across the way he wants to say it. That's how I feel. It's like, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. And I'm pumped to, get to hear all this stuff.
So anyway, if you are a pastor or church leader, or that person in your church, the one who, because we have a lot of financial advisors who, they're the person who the pastor comes to and says, hey, can you find us a financial curriculum we should go through or whatever?
Right.
Like, if that's you and you want to check this out, just go to SeedTime.com/true, and we can get you free access to review it and check it out and see if it's something you think will be a good fit for your small group, for your church, or whatever. Anyway, that's just been one of those things where it's been so fun seeing God move on it. We've had many churches all over the country now go through it, big, small, all kinds of different denominations, and we're here to help every step of the way. Like one of the things a lot of churches have found really helpful is that we have essentially a church marketing toolkit, because that's one of the problems. It's like, we're going to do this program in here, but how do we get people to show up?
Right.
And so we have pulled together like all kinds of resources to help you get people in the building, to actually be there. And we've done this enough with enough churches where we have a lot of good, we're learning a lot about how to make it work and how to make it work really well. And we've seen enough from churches who have just had phenomenal results that, we just learned a lot. So anyway, so that's that. We'll leave that there. Again, go to SeedTime.com/true if you want to get free access to review that, if you are some sort of church leader or something like that.
Right.
All right. And then finally, again, back to this idea of things that we've created. So I mentioned that thing about like we've created plenty of things that haven't worked real well, and then things where it's like it's really clear God's breathing on this. And for us, it becomes pretty obvious. And so, for example, just giving you a little inside baseball here, I think it was maybe a year or two ago, we released something. I'm not even going to say what it is. We released a little program or something. And we have a big email list. There's about over 100,000 people on our email list. So when we send an email, it goes to a lot of people. And I think we had like 2 people buy this program. and I'll give you some business advice here in case you're wondering. It's not a good idea to just create something without finding out if people want it first. And And that's been some
You've
of
had
the
to learn that the
biggest
hard way.
mistakes that I've ever made. It's like, I have a great idea. Everybody's going to want this. And then I'll create it.
Yeah, and we're
everybody's
pumped
like,
about it. And people
yeah.
are like, I
And I'm
don't
like,
care about that.
I made it so amazing. It's so great. And no one wants it. What I have found that works so much better is when you identify what people want, they tell you what they want, and then you go build that thing. And so this
By the way,
one,
we talk about this in the True Financial Freedom course.
We do, actually.
And in the book, right?
Yeah, because like in both of those, we're trying to help you earn more money, and that's part of the strategy. But point is, this fifth way that we can help you thrive this year is one of those things. And so this is our Real Money Method Unbudgeting course. And this was one where I thought, this is a bad idea. We don't need to create a course on this. It's too simple. And my brilliant, amazing wife named Linda,
I think
my first wife.
I think it's really my simple wife, Linda.
However you want to say it.
I was like, that was genius, and it's the only thing that's worked for us. Because part of Bob's,
you said I need to create a course on it.
Yeah, part of Bob's job is to like try everything, and he's excited to do that. Like you love it. Yeah. You're kind of like nerd out on what's the new cool, financial whatever gadgets.
I need more gadgets.
Anyway, so he there was a period of time where we were doing this when we first got married. It was like we were, nose to the grindstone.
That was even more so because I was reviewing. Literally, my job was to review budgeting software.
Right.
And
but when
tools.
we first got married, we were doing this method.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
When we first got married, because this was before the blog, and it was just like, we have got to get ourselves out of debt. We have got to find a system where we know where our money is going. I mean, we were so intense about it. I think back to that time and it's like, man, I remember telling my friends, I was like, Bob knows where every single penny is going. There was not one penny that was just like, I don't really know what happened to that one. We knew where everything was going because we were really desperate at that point.
Yeah.
And we had a goal in mind. And so we were doing this method. Well, then you started this blog
smart.
And you got all cool and fancy and wanted to try, look at this. Ooh, look at this fancy thing. And I remember I was working with you before. And then we started all these other fancy tools and they just did not work. And I would take them so far and I'd be like, here's a mess. You're going to have to fix this again because I don't know what to do with it now. And so when you said, I don't remember what it was. I don't know how it came up, but I remember saying to you, if I had it my way, we would go back to what we were doing in the beginning because it was so simple. I knew exactly what was going on all the time. And it was really holding me accountable. Yeah. Because what would happen whenever we were using some of those tools, I've since admitted this to you. It took me years to finally get it off my chest. But what would happen is when everything was a mess and, the little number turned red, in my mind, it was like, well, what does it matter if it's $100 in the red or $200 in the red? No one will ever really know. And so I was not, and, I felt like at that point, I was even on board with what we were doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because I didn't have any accountability, it was really easy for me to be like, well, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
And that was something that I really needed. And I think Lauren has talked to us about this too. She's like, I keep my buffer account really low because otherwise I'll just spend the money that's in there.
Lauren is one of our budget coaches who's involved in a lot of stuff on our team. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And so, I mean, she really is she has to keep herself really, within a certain margin because she knows herself well.
Yeah.
And
that's
she
part
sees,
of it. Yeah.
Where her weakness is, which is good. I mean, I think that's part of the brilliance of this course too, is it identifies your weaknesses and it forces you to face them and address them.
Yeah. So simply put, we call it an unbudgeting method because it's different than anything that I had ever seen. And again, like I said, I have reviewed, tried out probably dozens of different budgeting tools and apps and everything else. And again, for us as a married couple, and we found this for now probably nearly 2,500 students, this was the thing that worked better than everything else. We have people who have switched from pretty much every budgeting program out there and have said that this is easier, better, simpler, and better for their marriage. So I'll leave it for their there. Marriage. Well, actually, let's tell them about Ashley's testimonial, which a girl from church came up and was telling us about her story because
this was wild to us.
Okay, so here's what happened. Last year we decided, again, going off this product is just really working really well.
Mm-hmm.
What if we did a $1 trial, allowed people to get in and try it out for 2 months, and then they can, pay for it then after that, essentially.
Right.
And so we did that. We didn't know it was going to happen, but we got a whole bunch of people in, and she was one of them. And so, and she told us, she's like, I couldn't have afforded anything else. Like she went on to say they were living off $100 a week for groceries with her family of 5.
Mm-hmm.
She said they hadn't been able to buy Christmas presents for like the last 2 or 3 years for their kids.
Yeah.
No savings, credit card debt continuing to grow, like bills were consistently exceeding their income. I mean, just a bad financial spot, right? And so that $1 trial allowed her to get in and to actually test this out. And she didn't think, she's like, there's no way this is going to work. We don't have enough money to budget.
Right.
Like our expenses are way more.
Right.
But do you want to tell them what happened?
Well, and she confirmed it with Lauren.
Yeah.
She
emailed
Lauren and was
coaches.
like, can you, tell me what I'm missing? And Lauren was basically like, you're not missing anything.
Yeah,
which
there's not enough.
To me, it's like there's usually most people I think that get into this. It's like, okay, there's some hidden stuff here that we can work out. This was not one of those situations. And so, I think Lauren just kind of encouraged her to just do as best as she could, right? Yep. It's like, just start somewhere. You're at least going to hopefully plug some holes and be able to, row yourself to shore.
Yeah.
So she started and she said, I don't really know what happened, but somehow we had money left over at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's odd.
Weird.
Oh, okay.
What a coincidence.
Well, and it must have been, some sort of fluke, but it was like consistent. They had money left over at the end of the month. They were able to buy Christmas gifts for their kids. They've been able to start saving and have they have some significant financial goals that they're like, we've never even thought that we could do them. Yeah. And now it's something that's on their radar and they're starting to save for. And to me, that was just so encouraging to me because, like I talked about with the True Financial Freedom course, it's like we can share some good stuff. I do think that this is probably the best way to manage your money and know what's going on. I think it's the best.
Yep.
And, you can agree or disagree with that.
But you're wrong.
But the thing to me that is special about it that I feel like we have heard over and over and over again is that God is working with it. And I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, stuff like that. It's like, this doesn't solve that problem.
We didn't create money in her account.
If you earn $3,000 a month and you have $5,000 of expenses, this doesn't solve that problem.
It doesn't.
But there is something about co-laboring with God, doing your part, and that's what she was doing. She did this. She did what she could do, which was not much.
Right.
And God's like, I'm going to take care of the rest.
Right.
And we have seen that so many times with our students.
Yeah.
And
it's wild.
It's like God's the one who gets the praise and the glory for that.
Right.
Like, again, we didn't magically make that $2,000 appear.
No.
But God did.
I know.
Yeah. And so I want to read just a couple more things. She said within 4 months of starting the program, they no longer needed to use their credit cards. They discovered extra money in their accounts each and every month. She found a job. Her husband received a raise. They increased their giving to 11%. They started building savings for the first time in years. It's like the math didn't work, but God did.
Yep.
And I love it. It makes me so happy. So happy. So all that to say,
that's the quote you should put on the top of the website. The math didn't work, but God did.
Yeah, maybe we should. But so here's the good news. We, for the rest of April, are doing that $1 trial again.
Yep.
So you have the opportunity, if you're interested in trying this out, you can, both of our programs. So the basic course is $97. The plus package is $247, just has some more bells and whistles and stuff. But both of them, you can get a $1 trial. And then after 60 days, if you like it, if it's working, whatever, then you'll be charged that full amount, either $97 or $247. And if you don't, just let us know.
Well, and the idea is that within those 2 months, you should make up enough.
Yeah, if you get it working, like, because this is the thing we hear more than anything else from these students is I freed up hundreds of dollars. There was extra money and I didn't even feel it.
Right.
Like that's the power of getting a system like this in place for your finances.
Yeah.
And it's so simple to use. Like we've, again, probably used this close to 7 or 8 total years of our life being married, maybe even 10 at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
And we spend somewhere from maybe 5 Like on an average week, we spend maybe 5 minutes a week just managing it. So it's really simple. It's not time intensive. And what's beautiful is that Linda and I, and if you're married, this is particularly helpful. We always know what's going on. And we don't have to, we don't have to like call each other. Hey, can I spend money on this? Can I go buy this? Can I like, we can see what's actually happening, you know?
Yeah. Which, I mean, we do when it's appropriate. But at the same time, what's great is that we don't have to call in and always be asking permission to buy stuff.
Yeah, like,
you know, because I mean, hard. that's what it probably would be, is if I spend most of the money in the house, not because, I mean, I am a spender and I've gotten that under control. But the fact of the matter is, I'm the one that buys the toilet paper and the toothpaste and the groceries and the, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the one that keeps all of that running. And so it's really helpful. And the kids' shoes, you know, it's really helpful to not have to call Bob every time I need to spend money because I'm trying to keep the house running.
Yeah.
Being like, can we afford to buy the kids a pair
if
of
you were
shoes
doing
today?
that, if you're married and you're doing that, like,
there's just
please,
an easier way.
There's a better way.
Yeah.
There's a better way. So,
and it will cause less arguments.
Oh man.
And it will I think it takes off a huge load of stress, because the thing about it is, most of the time I would be calling you to have those conversations, you'd be in the middle of work and you might be stressed out already.
Yep.
You know, I think a lot of people are like, the guy is usually like, how am I going to make all this work? And how am I going to make enough money, you know, to make this happen? And my wife's calling me every 5 minutes to make sure, you know what I mean? I've heard situations like that. And it's like, this just eliminates that stress, which is great. I mean, if you can get rid of it, why wouldn't you?
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. And like I said, take us up on these resources.
Yeah.
Because again, like, these are all ways where you can begin thriving financially this year. And like you saw, like, a lot of what we talked about here is free or really cheap. So just take advantage of this stuff. Please, please, please. Like, we are praying for you. We want to see your financial life changed. Yeah, it's just so important to us. It's like that we want to see you thriving financially. And it's more than just you. It's like everyone who is attached to you and the kingdom impact that you can have when you begin thriving financially. And so that's our mission. That's our prayer. That's our hope. Yeah. And so take advantage of these resources. We'll have links down below. And send me an email, bob@SeedTime.com, if we missed any of them or anything else, and we'll chat. All right. See y'all.
See ya.
This is what Kesha had to say about our book, Simple Money, Rich Life.
First and foremost, Simple Money, Rich Life. Y'all know that I've been reading this book, and hands down, I would go as far as saying this is probably one of the most monumental books in my life.
And did you know that you can get a copy for free?
You can get it on Amazon, but we so believe that the church needs this message that if you can cover shipping, we'd love to cover the cost of the book and send you a free copy.
All you need to do is go to SeedTime.com/free to get yours.